Iowa State University Extension and Outreach stays for the long haul. We're there when needs arise, and about 17,000 volunteers work with us, increasing our staying power. We partner and provide resources, research, and education to assist Iowans. We're people, advancing people.
We used to sit on the deck every night in the summer, and we'd sit out here till past dark and look up at the trees and watch the birds, and it was terrific. Well, now you look up and you got nothing.
It just changes the whole complexity of the whole neighborhood and the city in general, I think.
It did.
July 11th was the crucial date in Benton County. Started about 4:30, 5 o'clock that morning. That's probably a good time to have something like that happen. It was a what they call a wind event, and it was high winds in excess of 110, possibly 135 miles an hour, sustained for more than 20 minutes, and was a situation where it blew a lot of the corn down, extensive tree damage to a lot of the towns.
This whole area used to be a forest of great big pine trees. We planned ahead for 20 years from now, and it took all of them out.
Right.
So now we're starting from scratch basically, and
right.
Our neighbor Janet calls our backyard a wasteland.
Yeah, we were starting to get calls of do we need help, and what do we need help with on the fairgrounds. Well, as you can see, one of the biggest points of damaged storm is the loss of steel and some of the structural things on the hog barn. Well, there's some damage that I hadn't seen before. As you can see, we lost again about half the barn, but quite a bit of damage. Just able to try and make it at least safe enough for the fair to occur. But now the decision comes in, how do we make something that's damaged better than what it was prior to the storm?
We're going to talk today about how you can do some long-range planning, how some of the mandates that we had with the annual financial report can be used to our advantage. Our area of extension really focuses on state and local government programming. The clerks and finance officers in Iowa receive the training primarily in an institute and in an academy which we sponsor here in Ames every year.
Training from Iowa State Extension is important and essential to all the city clerks, city managers, finance officers in the state of Iowa, because without them, all the new legislative issues that come up would not be available, and we don't have any other venue to find out these issues from. And that is why Iowa State Extension continuing education is extremely important to all cities in the state of Iowa.
And when we look at T, which is the allowable erosion that we're allowed in Iowa, which is 5 tons per acre, they say that's about the width of a dime. In conservation, it starts with relationships, helping people understand that this is not a short-term business, this is a long-term business. If you want it to continue into multiple generations, we have to preserve this wonderful resource we've got. And the only way to do that is through our conservation efforts to make sure we're not taking out more than what we're putting in.
We do strip tillage with our hog manure, and commercial fertilizer for time management, the economics, also the soil tilth and the conservation side behind it.
So instead of broadcast and doing tillage on manure, he wanted to experiment with situations where he was actually strip tilling the manure and putting those nutrients right below where that corn plant's going to grow. The long term is based on relationships, and it takes a relationship to work with producers to become an important part of their decision-making process. And so Extension has to have that long-term commitment. Just a one-time information source isn't going to cut it. They have to have information sources that they, number one, trust. Number two, know that when they get that information, it is actually going to come true, and that's the research-based side that helps. And that's what Extension's real role is being able to take that research-based information, being able to sort from all the other information that's out there, and put it in a format that farmers can believe, trust, and understand so that they can put it into place in their operation.
This program has been a benefit for citizens in Iowa for a very long time. It brings in people who may not necessarily be trained in this particular area, but it helps them to regain an education as well as leadership skills that allow them to be active participants in the communities. It has given us the opportunity to hone those skills for the long haul. It has given us the ability to do long-range planning in our communities and make those communities places where we and the next generation are going to want to stay and live in vital and vibrant communities.
We're here for the long haul. We're here to make sure that people know if they need information, they need a way of finding out how can we make things better or how can we improve what we have. That's what Iowa State University Extension is about. It's about getting out and talking to people and getting them the information that they need so they can make an informed decision on dealing with catastrophes. To Benton County, Extension means we're here when the event happened. We'll be here 6 months from when the event happened. Being there today, being there tomorrow, being there 5 years from now, being there 10 years from now. We are part of the community. That's what Extension is all about.